Welcome to the Main Street Preps High School Football Preview Show. Nobody brings you more comprehensive coverage of high school sports in Middle Tennessee than Main Street Preps. Today's show is brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Remember, fans don't let fans drive drunk. Now, please welcome the host of the Main Street Preps High School Football Preview Show.
Hello and welcome into the Main Street Preps High School Football Preview Show. I'm Russell Vannozzi. Excited to be talking about the third round of the TWSAA playoffs this week. We've got a great show lined up for you today. In just a moment, we're going to talk to Franklin Road Academy coach Justin Geisinger ahead of his team's showdown with Christ Presbyterian Academy in the Division II AA semifinals. We will also talk storylines entering the third round and also make predictions for some of the top third round games. Before we do all that, though, I want to remind everybody this show is brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, where fans don't let fans drive drunk. We've got a lot to get to, so let's dive right into it now with Justin Geisinger from FRA, who's going to join us here on screen. Justin, thanks for being here today.
Absolutely, Russ. Thanks for having me.
So, Justin, let's start with a big picture question here. Obviously, your second year at FRA, and you guys are in the state semifinals. Pretty good benchmark there for the second year in charge. Is this pretty much how you guys drew it up, and where you were hoping to be in year two?
No, I mean, I don't think, us never being an outcome-oriented coaching staff or team, it was really simply process-focused. Really, we looked at last year as year zero, kind of coming in late, inheriting a good group of guys and inheriting some good coaches. I was really fortunate to that and able to have some come down with me from Pope John Paul as well. But it was really about implementing our mission and our process within our program. Our mission is to live and compete like Christ, and our process is win the one. We really live by that. WTO, you'll see those letters all over the place within our program for a long time. It's a permanent process for us, and that really stems at not win the one game or the championship or the accolade or the stat line. We want those things, but we want our kids to win that one moment in front of them, whatever it is in life, whether it's a test, a conversation with mom or dad, a practice, a game, what have you. That's really what we want to live by. So really coming in and implementing our process, our kids really did a great job last year of buying in, especially our senior group from last year who really, didn't have to do that. When you look at, hey, new coach, new staff coming in 1 year, is this really worth changing all this and really jumping all in? And they really did, and they really helped lead our current group of seniors, who was really a productive group from last year and into this year as well.
So that formula has obviously been working for you guys so far, and it will be put to the test again here Friday against CPA. Of course, that was your only loss of the season so far to this point. FRA is 11-1. What did you guys learn from that first matchup against CPA that you might be able to implement this week and maybe help you out there and get a better result?
Yeah, I mean, I think, it's nice that we played them, just a little over 3 weeks, I guess it'd be 4 weeks ago from when we played them this Friday. So having the familiarity of them from this year, obviously it's a familiar program with us at FRA, but, you'll take this first. They are an extremely, extremely talented football team. I mean, that's given, obviously, with their body of work this year and, from prior years. It's a prideful program. Coach Martin does a good job with those guys over there, but he's got talented football players all over the field. So there's not a whole lot of weakness to their team. I think defensively, they're one of the stronger defenses in the state. If you look at them, just their personnel and the guys that they have a powerful offense, have the ability to really have a strong running game with it, in their inside-outside zone game. And, they have the ability to take the top off and take shots down the field and really hurt you with an explosive play as well. So, they're a talented team. They're disciplined, they play hard. And obviously, they've been there and they've done that, for a number of years, been at this point of the postseason, and they understand how to play in these situations. For us, for our guys, this is kind of uncharted water. We talked about kind of uncharted waters for our program in quite a while. So at being in this point, so that's exciting, but at the same time, I think our guys are grounded with that and, are looking forward to capping off a good week of preparation.
So, Justin, let's dive into some of the strengths of your team this year. Ty Clark III is somebody we've probably got to start with here. He's a Mr. Football semifinalist there in Division II AA, having a phenomenal senior season. In the regular season, he had nearly 1,500 rushing yards and 26 touchdowns. What's allowed Ty to perform at such a high level this year?
I think from the physical standpoint, you see it. I mean, you see it on his tape. If you've watched any of our games this year, he's an explosive football talent, and he's very good in all phases of the game as a running back. He's a strong runner. He's got good vision. He catches the ball well out of the backfield. He's great in pass protection. So he does all those things well. But I think what separates Ty from other good backs or other good football players is the type of person he is, the type of leader, type of integrity and character this young man has is second to none. You talk to any of our administrators, our faculty, teachers that are around them, and he's a true ambassador for our school, not just the football team, because that's not really what we're about at FRA. We're about, being a really Renaissance type of young man and being well-rounded in all facets of what they're a part of here at FRA. And he's part of a lot and has impacted a lot of people in this school, not just our football team, but our school in general. And that's really what makes him who he is. The God-given ability and talent has come with it. And that's been exciting. But the type of young man, type of student he is, type of leader is really what separates him.
Yeah, you can't ask much more from one guy than all of that. So, and clearly college programs have started to take notice too. I know his recruitment really has only started to pick up recently. He got an offer from Wake Forest this week. I believe that's his first Power 5 offer. Is that something you think will continue to pick up here late in the recruiting cycle? Is he have a chance to be a real late riser there on the recruiting scene?
I mean, I certainly think it's possible and probable. I mean, I think, I was really, really happy to see that with him and Wake last evening. But, I mean, you talk about a kid that's going to add something more to your program than just from the X's, O's, and the transactional standpoint of being a really elite running back and an elite football player. What he's going to add to the locker room creates an entire different dimension that's going to separate him from what I think is a lot of good, talented football players. When you look at the high academic FBS programs like a Wake Forest, all the Ivy Leagues obviously have been obviously all over him from that standpoint. That's him. I think those type of schools are what fits him the best because, like I said, football is really important to him and he loves football, but he understands football will end at some point one day, even if he's fortunate enough to go to the professional level, it will end. And he's you talk about the maturity of a young man at his age. He understands that and he recognizes that. And I think Franklin Road Academy has set him up to have that mindset as well, because really that's what we're about here.
And another guy that's starting to pick up some interest from schools is Bobby Council Jr. He's having a great year as well. Does a little bit of everything for FRA, but he was named the Region Defensive Player of the Year. How valuable has it been to have somebody like Bobby, not only on defense, but also what he's able to do in other facets of the game as well?
Yeah, I mean, Bobby's a pretty unique talent. And again, you see it. He was Athlete of the Year for the Middle Region last year. He was Defensive Player of the Year for the Middle Region this year. He's a special player. He's our punter. He is a significant contributor at our tight end spot on offense, does a lot of things on the ball, off the ball for us there. And then obviously on defense, we're able to move him around and he's a playmaker. He is. But again, just a phenomenal young man too, a guy that's fully bought in, elected as a team captain along with Ty. You talk about two standout leaders for our team that have also produced, being a phase of leadership. Production is a piece of that. And they have produced for multiple years, big years last year. We've had big senior seasons this year, and they will be an integral part of however long this thing continues on for us this season. So I'm just blessed and fortunate to have been able to work with them for 2 years. I wish I had them for 4, but it's been fun.
With you being an offensive line guy, we've got to talk about offensive line a little bit. And I think everybody this past week that follows the Titans, maybe the past few weeks, has seen that, that team is broken in a lot of ways, but especially with the offensive line woes, that's just kind of snowballs into a whole bunch of issues for the offense and the team in general. You walked into a situation at FRA where you had a couple of top-ranked linemen, Joe Crocker, who's now at Louisville, obviously Luke Masterson, still with the team this year as a senior, and then several other guys as well up front that are making those holes for Ty Clark and your quarterback, Logan Kennard, and everybody else. But I guess, how beneficial was it to have some stability there on the offensive line, some strength on the offensive line to sort of set the tone for the rest of the team and set up the offense and everybody else?
Oh, no question. I mean, yes, I'm an offensive line. Maybe I'm biased. I'm an offensive line guy by trade and at heart, but I don't care. Any coach at any level is going to tell you that's the heartbeat of your group. Ty Clark, who's a captain, obviously, and like I said, an ambassador for everything we do, will tell you that is the heartbeat of this group. So yeah, Luke Masterson, the guy obviously with tremendous still upside, even as a senior, phenomenal athlete, obviously a UNC commit, and they're getting a great one there. But he's one of the five, and really we've got 6 or 7 guys that have contributed for us in that area this year that are a really close-knit group. You look, usually your closest knit group on the team is those guys, and it's no different here. Those guys are super close all the way across the board. And it was great to see some of those guys get recognized in the all region selections this year. They deserve it. They've been phenomenal, and they've done a great job. We're a team that needs to be able to run the ball effectively. I think at any level of high school football, you better have some type of run game that you can hang your hat on. And those guys take a lot of pride in that. And I've been really proud of their response this year and their leadership. And it's been fun to be a part of.
We've touched on some of the big name guys across your team, but at any position here, I mean, who are a couple of names that have really stepped up this year that maybe haven't gotten the same kind of recognition that you want to highlight? Is there anybody that comes to mind there?
It'd be hard. It'd be hard because, our program's not based off of individual talents or accolades or stats. Obviously, you've got to have good players and good talent to be a productive team. But we feel like there's been, really all close to 60 guys on our roster have been an integral part of our success. And that's whether they've been scout team players, guys that are still working to get on the scout team, guys that are first teamers, 3-year starters, 4-year starters, all the way up to a lot of our first-year starters. We have several freshmen on our team this year. Amari Sanders, starting safety for us as a freshman. Quadir Fletcher has been a starting inside linebacker for us as a freshman. Baron Zenner has played a lot of inside linebacker and tight end and F on offense for us as a freshman. Keelan Neal is our starting right tackle, was a first-team all-region selection as a freshman offensive lineman, which is really impressive. So those are, you talk about some young guys in our program. We're really excited. Those are just a few on a deep freshman class we're excited about. But in between all the way up, there's been guys at every class that have really, found their role, embraced that role, whether that's a role that they've wanted or a role that, hey, I really want to work towards a different role on this team. They've embraced that and understood that role is important, regardless of where it is within the program at this point.
I started with sort of a big picture question, and I'll end with one here too, sure. Justin. But you talked a lot about how the focus these first couple of years has been about building the team culture, getting that process down, and not necessarily
Absolutely.
Worrying about the results too much, and
sure.
kind of understanding that those would take care of themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what's happened. You guys have been successful result wise. So
Sure.
now moving forward, how do you guys sustain that level of success and even take it to the next level in years to come?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And I think it's exactly what you said. It's continuing to hammer our process, right? We can't control wins and losses. That's the outcome. All we talk about is we can control is our response, our R. Events are given to us. We can influence events, but we can't control them. The next event we have as far as football just happens to be CPA at their place at 7:00 on Friday. So, but there's a lot of events between now and Friday that we can control up to that point to help hopefully impact, the outcome. I just feel like teams that are strictly outcome and transactionally oriented as far as wins and losses really aren't going to see what the outcome can be at the highest level, because that's their focus instead of, really focusing on the controllables within their program. And that's something that as a coach, I've really worked hard to look at and evaluate over my career. And that's that's what I feel like has been central to our success, is our team's culture is healthy and strong. Still not where we want it yet. There's still a lot of growth, just really being in our first full year coming off an off season from last year. So that's what's exciting, is there's still so much growth left and potential. And if you're not always looking to grow, then you're probably stalling somewhere. So that's what we'll continue to do, and we'll go and we'll see what happens from there.
Certainly will be fun to watch. Justin, thanks for all your time today, and best of luck this week against CPA.
Thanks, Russell. Appreciate it.
All right, that has been Franklin Road Academy football coach Justin Geisinger. Really appreciate him taking some time out of his week as they are preparing for a big game there on Friday out at the Lions Den. We are going to take a quick break now and then come back with some storylines for the third round, so stick around.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good. I thought it was good.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal. It was no big deal.
Hey, I can hold my liquor. I thought I could hold my liquor.
As an Allstate agent in Gallatin, Larry Maynard knows many local families. His knowledge and understanding of the people in this community helps him provide customers with outstanding service. Give Larry a call at 615-452-1500. Macon Bank and Trust Company is a proud supporter of the Gallatin Green Wave. For over 100 years, Macon Bank and Trust has offered a true hometown banking experience to help you meet your financial goal. We are local people with local decision-making and ready to serve you.
Don't let pain keep you from doing the things you love. With our world-class physicians, Houston Clinic Orthopedics will have you back enjoying your life in no time. From ortho care to physical therapy and more. Visit our website to book an appointment. Houston Clinic Orthopedics, when experience matters.
Craving the juiciest, most delicious burgers in Dixon? Look no further. Luke's Burgers and Breakfast has got you covered. Whether you're in the mood for a mouth-watering cheeseburger or a breakfast burrito, we have it all. Our secret? Only the freshest ingredients, cooked to perfection every time. So why settle for ordinary when you can have extraordinary? Come on down to Luke's Burgers and Breakfast, where every bite is an experience.
We are back here on the Main Street Preps High School Football Preview Show talking third round storylines. And we have got to start with just the sheer amount of rematches that are happening across the land here in Tennessee high school football. The brackets are, of course, set up in a way that strong regions or regions with several strong teams do set up for rematches at some point in the playoffs. And that has certainly happened here with a number of top-ranked teams across the area. Of course, there's Ravenwood at Brentwood, Liberty Creek at East Nashville, CPA at FRA, Centennial at Page, Marshall County at Pearl-Combe, Oakland at Riverdale, and Macon County at Upperman, just to name some of the most notable ones there. Will be interesting to see if any of the underdogs in those matchups can change the result from the first time around when those teams met. A lot of these games were, because they were region games, happened late in the season, some even as recently as 2 or 3 weeks ago. So these teams are all familiar with each other, and it will be interesting to see if any results are different this time around. So I've got my eye on that slate of rematches there here in the third round. And how about NBA? Can they keep the magic going? Huge win for them over Innsworth last week, 17-14 on a walk-off field goal. And it was really 3 plays that made the difference. It was Jordan Diani's blocked field goal at the end of regulation that, of course, Innsworth would have won right there at the buzzer had that gone in. There was also Jake Moore forcing a fumble on the first play of overtime, Sam Hall picking that up to give NBA possession, and then Marty Uverard sent the field goal unit out on the first play. Liam Hackett nailed a 27-yard walk-off field goal to send the Big Red to the state semifinals, which a couple months ago, that was maybe unspeakable because NBA was 0-4, on the verge of going 0-5 in a tough game to Father Ryan that they were able to actually come back and win to avoid going 0-5. And ever since then, they've played a lot better. I believe since that point, they've only lost to McCallie and Baylor. Of course, 2 of the top-ranked teams there in Division II at AAA, and potentially a state title meeting there. We'll see how it goes for them, but potentially they're could be the 2 best teams in that league, in that classification, I should say. But NBA has made things interesting here. They have now won 4 of their last 5 games, and they've got to travel to McCallie now, and they did lose 35-0 there earlier in the year. But you've got to play the games, and NBA has completely turned its season around since the last time it played Macaulay. So I've got my eye on this game, certainly as a long shot there, but could be an upset to look for. So we'll see if NBA can sort of keep that run going. And another team that's had some magic here in the playoffs, Davidson Academy. The Bears are now 10-2. They play at Boyd Buchanan in the Division II AA state semifinals. Of course, Boyd Buchanan is undefeated and led by Tennessee high school football coaching legend Gary Rankin. So the Bears certainly have their work cut out for them, but you can't count them out yet because even when it looked like they were on the verge of elimination last week, Knox Roberts hit Joshua Bolden on what was essentially a Hail Mary on 4th and 20. Got in the end zone for a touchdown in the final seconds there to down Lausanne and to keep their season alive. So we'll see if the Bears can get to their first Division II AA state title game after having quite a bit of success in recent years in Division II single A. Would be a big moment for that program to get to the Blue Cross Bowl in this higher classification. And moving on down to Division II single A, Middle Tennessee Christian and Friendship Christian could be on a collision course here as we move closer to the Blue Cross Bowl. We are, of course, guaranteed an all mid-state final because Columbia Academy is playing MTCS and Nashville Christian is playing Friendship Christian. So no matter who advances, we will have area representation on both sides in that game. And obviously, it's hard to weigh results from week one at this point, but MTCS did beat Columbia Academy 33-31 in triple overtime in week one. That game was an absolute classic. Should be a great semifinal game there. And if somehow MTCS can pull out another win over Columbia Academy and Friendship Christian can hold off Nashville Christian, who is also playing well in the playoffs here with Jared Curtis putting up some big numbers there at quarterback. But if both those things happen, we will get a rematch between two Mr. Football semifinalists at running back, and that's Tyson Walcott, Eli Wilson. Both guys have put up just video game numbers this year. Would be a lot of fun to see them face off in Chattanooga for a title. That's all we've got for the storylines for this week. So we're going to take another quick break and then come back with predictions for the third round. So stick around for that.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good. I thought it was good.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal. It was no big deal.
Hey, I can hold my liquor. I thought I could hold my liquor.
Welcome to the GR Group at Cry Like Realtors. Our team is comprised of seasoned veterans, military spouses, and other real estate professionals with strong ties to the military community. We specialize in helping our clients buy and sell homes, as well as providing comprehensive services for commercial and land properties. Whether you're relocating to the area interested in buying or selling a home, or looking for commercial or land properties, the GR Group has the expertise and resources to help you achieve your real estate goals. Contact the GR Group today.
Founded in 2005, Pamela Witt, First Lending Solutions, has a reputation of consistently offering the lowest possible rates and, above all, providing outstanding customer service. Pamela Witt, First Lending Solutions, takes pride in treating our clients with honesty and integrity. We provide excellent service and experience you can trust for all your mortgage needs, proudly serving all of Tennessee. Apply today. Call Pamela Witt, First Lending Solutions, 858-518-1506, or online at www.firstlendingonline.com.
NMLS number 314276, ID 135932.
Tired of hanging lights every year? We get it. That's why Southern Nights is here to help. We install programmable lighting on your home or business so you can enjoy beautiful, customizable lighting all year round. No more ladders, tangled lights, or cold nights outside. We do the work, you do the celebrating. Call Southern Nights today and take the hassle out of holiday lighting forever. For a free quote, give us a call at 931-241-3074 or visit our Facebook page at Southern Nights.
All right, getting ready for our final segment here on the Main Street Preps High School Football Preview Show. It's my favorite part of the show, and that is when we make picks for this week's top games. Last week, it was that Innsworth botched field goal and overtime loss that kept me from having a 10-0 week. That's okay, though. I can settle for 9-1. That's a lot better than I've been doing recently. We've had a lot of 6-4, 7-3 type weeks here. Not great, definitely below where I'd like to be. But for the season, I'm 94-36, inching back up the standings in our staff-wide pick'em. And hopefully we can continue to do more of that this week here in the third round. Let's take a minute to look at 5 of the top games. Of course, you can find our full picks for the top 10 games in the area this week at mainstreetpreps.com. And that'll give you a good cross-section of what all of our reporters and editors from across the area are thinking might happen this Friday. First up, we've got Oakland at Riverdale in Class 6A. This is a rematch of an absolute classic from a few weeks ago in which Riverdale pulled out a 25-24 win on a 2-point conversion pass from Braden Graham to Braylon Vanderbilt. It was Riverdale's first win over Oakland since 2012. So not an easy thing to do to beat Oakland. They do get them at home this time, Riverdale does, so that should help. But Oakland and Kevin Creasy are a team that they might get fooled once a season, once every couple seasons, but twice in one season would be surprising. So with DeJuan Morris, Ashton Jones, and that Oakland backfield, and just all the guys they've got on defense, I think that Oakland's going to find a way to get a little bit of revenge here and pull out a win. I'm giving the Patriots a 24-24 victory, 28-24, victory, and have them moving on to the state semifinals once again. But should be a great game there that could go either way. How about the Battle of the Woods down in Williamson County? Ravenwood at Brentwood. Again, this is a rematch of a game that happened, I believe, 3 weeks ago. Brentwood won that game 17-0 and really kind of controlled the pace there. Didn't put up a lot of points, but they didn't need to with the way their defense played. So Brentwood's still undefeated at this point. Ravenwood also had a nice season, dealing with some injuries here and there, but they've been able to make up for that, especially in the backfield with Davis Dallin, Caden Pace, and some other guys stepping up for Carter Pace. So they've picked up the slack there for him, but it's just hard to bet against Brentwood right now. They've had a couple of scares here and there. I believe Cane Ridge gave them a pretty decent scare in the first half of their first round game, but they were able to pull away and win about 28-7 or so. I believe it was at least a 3-score game there. So Brentwood is battle tested despite that undefeated record, and I think they are going to be able to pull this one out at home. I'm giving it to them 24-20. FRA at CPA. Of course, that was the game we were talking about with Justin Geisinger. This is kind of a budding rivalry now that FRA has really elevated its play over the last couple of seasons. But CPA won that first game 24-7. I don't see this one having a different result, even if FRA does make it closer, especially if they can cut down on the turnovers that were a big issue in the first meeting. I've still got CPA taking it 28-14, and moving on to the Blue Cross Bowl once again. Liberty Creek at East Nashville. Liberty Creek has come on real strong here over the past month. Brian Rager having a great senior season. Mac Tuggle, I believe, had 150 yards rushing last week. He's up for our Main Street Preps Player of the Week. But East Nashville has got a loaded backfield with Kalen Anderson, Keith Johnson. Those guys have been getting it done. Martez Lamb at quarterback. He's a junior. So they've got all those guys coming back next year. But they're primed for a run this year. And I think East Nashville is going to keep this thing going and win on Friday 28-20. And lastly here, we have Centennial at Page. Man, this was a great game the first time around. Page pulled it out 24-12, and I think they're going to do something similar here. I've got Page winning 28-17. That'll do it for my picks, and that is all the time we've got for today. So thanks for tuning in to the Main Street Preps High School Football Preview Show. Stay tuned to mainstreetpreps.com for football coverage across the area, and we'll see you back next week here on the show. Talk to you then.
You have been watching the Main Street Preps High School Football Preview Show. Nobody brings you more comprehensive coverage of high school sports in Middle Tennessee than Main Street Preps. Join us each week at this time on Main Street Media TV to get the latest news about high school football. The Main Street Preps High School Football Preview Show is brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.